In 1969, 8 downtown Hartford churches came together to form Center City Churches, now known as Hands on Hartford. Meanwhile, in 1969, a young Barbara Shaw was learning her reading, writing, and arithmetic, getting kicked out of the Girl Scouts, and dreaming of becoming a nurse like her mother or a detective like Nancy Drew. As Hands on Hartford grew and changed over the years, so did Barbara. These early influences, the heart of the nurse and the mind of the detective, have been constants in Barbara's approach and leadership style. Little did she know that her nursing and detective dreams would evolve to her earning a clinical social work degree and leading the charge on the rehab of an old Parkville neighborhood building and plans for building 30 new units of affordable housing in Hartford, all the while doing the detective work needed to uncover the support and resources needed to do this impactful work. Barbara first joined Center City Churches in 2002 as Director of Programs and Volunteers. She directed numerous programs: Peter's Retreat, housing for folks living with HIV/AIDS, food programs, meals and food pantry, along with the backpack nutrition program, the Center for Youth, and she saw the evolution of Center City Churches into Hands on Hartford. She became known as a strong and compassionate leader.
She gets it. She can be the executive director and she can be the ear of a compassionate person who simply wants to help.
In 2009, she was offered the executive director position, following in the footsteps of some amazing leaders, the late Reverend David S. King, George Wells, the late Paul Christie among them.
When I was the board chair, Hands on Hartford was going through a very difficult time, hard as it may be to imagine now. And we weren't sure who the new executive director would be. And we didn't really have resources to find a new executive director. And so we were in a real difficult predicament. And I came up, well, not just me, we came up with the brilliant idea to ask Barbara to be the executive director and to make the opportunity exciting for her. We really had nothing to offer her in terms of increased pay or time off or anything like that. So basically my opportunity, or my pitch to Barbara was, would you please consider being the executive director of a organization that's teetering on a very difficult precipice. And when I presented this great opportunity to Barbara, she didn't turn me down directly, but she did it as politely as possible. I think she said, I need to really think about this. And I, of course, told her that's appropriate and she should think about it. But my heart sank because if Barbara wasn't going to take this role, there really wasn't a plan B for us. And so I've often wondered if Barbara, after thinking about this opportunity, had decided not to do it, what would have happened.
Fortunately, Barbara did take on the executive director role. During her time as executive director, she truly embodied the notion of servant leadership, and her commitment to this community and its most vulnerable residents has remained ever clear. Through her uncompromising leadership, Hands on Hartford has tripled in size, serving more neighbors with more robust services every year. Some of the advances she spearheaded were the implementation of the pantry's current shopping model with, as she reminds us to clarify, fresh produce, milk and eggs, and halal offerings. The big rehab and move to our current home in Parkville. The creation of the shared use kitchen. Kicking off our homeless outreach program, a team of folks who go out on evenings and weekends to help people living outdoors and in cars get into homes of their own. And the opening of the unique and innovative Gather 55, a restaurant open to all, regardless of ability to pay.
There's so many things I admire about Barbara. She has a kind of a crystal clear vision for what it means for community to come together and really impact a city and impact people. And she has this way of communicating that and inspiring people, I think, to get to kind of follow along with that vision.
She is a straight shooter. You know exactly where you stand with her. You know exactly what she's thinking about. She always makes sure that the client comes first.
How did she do all this work? The answer is clear to anyone who meets her. Her connection with and compassion for the people she serves, and the way she gives of her whole self.
I was just kind of intimidated by her stature in the place here about who she was, just high and, and not much else to her. She just said, "Hi, how are you doing? What's your name?" And that started our conversation. Instead of just being so intimidated as the big boss lady walks by. Shh.
What I've seen with Barbara's work in action with Hands on Hartford over the years is really excellent work. She's very dedicated, or she was very dedicated to Hands on Hartford with her term at Hands on Hartford. Always thinking of Hands on Hartford, whether she was at work or not, just thinking of ways that she could benefit the organization and how that organization could better impact the community that it serves.
Throughout her time as executive director, it has been her connection with this community that has most inspired Barbara.
So what really gets me out of bed and in here and motivated every single day for the last 22 and a half years are the amazing people. Every single day I get to see literally dozens, if not hundreds of people here at Hands on Hartford, our Center for Community. So certainly the people we serve, our customers, our tenants, our clients, our volunteers, our donors, and our amazing team members, just hands down the people.
She has impacted so many people, not just the thousands of folks helped by Hands on Hartford services, but colleagues, family, and friends.
I want to say what a joy and delight and an honor it has been to work these last years with Barbara. She has taught me so much about leadership, about community, about what it means to spend your life in service with others.
Well, when I think about my mom's work at Hands on Hartford, I think about dedication. I think about putting other people before herself. And, basically I think of an inspiration for what I have tried to do in my life and my career. And so she's always taught me to look at the other side of the picture. I think she'll have a legacy as somebody who's a doer, somebody who's compassionate and caring, who, can be sensitive and kind, but also is very practical and likes to get things done.
As Barbara heads into retirement, she leaves with the good wishes of everyone she has impacted.
Enjoy retirement, but don't let retirement sit you back in the seat and stop you from doing things. There's a whole lot of life out there now when you retire, because I retired. And don't forget about your past. Don't forget about your past. There's a lot of people that you met throughout your life that you just need to make sure you stop in and say, "Hey, hi."
Barbara, as you get ready for retirement, and retirement probably sounds like a strange term for you because we know that you're going to continue to be active and do things that you're passionate about in the community, but enjoy it. You have earned the opportunity to rest, to play, to have fun, but don't stop challenging us. Don't stop being the voice of conscience for our city and for our neighborhoods and who we are. So you get to keep challenging us while you're retired, but you don't have to do the direct work anymore.
As she passes the baton to Deputy Executive Janet Bermudez, Barbara Shaw leaves a lasting legacy.
She has created such a phenomenal organization here that it will live on for many decades afterwards. She just brings so much to the table, and she has big shoes to fill. I hope that she can rest in her retirement knowing that this organization is so much better off for the years that she committed to it.
I guess it's been my privilege over many years to meet and work with a lot of really stellar people, but the shining star is Barbara. She is obviously an accomplished and successful leader of Hands on Hartford. And she is the most compassionate, passionate, loving, caring person I have ever met.